and welcome back to How to Be a Better You. Today we're going to learn how to...
Hey, do you mind if I join you?
And what the heck are you wearing?
We're writing a song, right?
Yeah.
Weren't we talking about this earlier?
Isaiah.
What?
Is that my mom's dress?
Well, I mean, not anymore, but yeah. It doesn't fit very well.
What the heck?
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe this should be a part of our wedding. Maybe he can wear the dress and I can wear the tux.
I can't zip this thing up, but it's okay.
That'd be weird.
Alright, what are we doing?
We're writing a song.
Do you write songs?
No.
No? Why not?
You're supposed to say not yet.
Well, why don't you?
I don't know.
You don't know? You don't remember?
I know how to write songs, kind of, but I'm not that great at it.
She actually is really good at it.
You've been doing it longer.
Doesn't matter. There's people that are drummers that have been drumming for 5, 6, 7 months that are better than me. And I've been drumming since I was 3. So, just saying. Time has nothing to do with it. It's how much effort you put into it and how many different people around you. Like people that watch this, for instance, with some of these things. Stop looking at my chest!
Sorry.
What do you think this is? Do you think this is some thing where I
Sorry, the dress
I don't even
is kind
understand
of
you anymore.
distracting.
I don't even understand you anymore.
Ah.
You used to like me for other things, and now all you're doing is look at me like I'm a piece of meat. Alright, so Johnny, get this out, or this, or one of these, or one of these. Don't get this one out though.
How about a crayon?
Well, okay, I only need one pen.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna write with both hands. Sorry. Alright, so we're done with that.
So, how do we come up with... normally when you write, do you come up with the title first or the lyrics?
There is no normal. So the answer is no.
Okay, basically, whenever he taught me how to write songs, whenever he taught me how to write songs, the first thing that he told me was to look around you and basically write about what you see.
There's a stick in the bucket next to me. There's a stick in the bucket next to me. There's a stick! There's a stick! There's a stick in the bucket next to me.
You can basically write anything, okay?
Along the walls, there is some painting, and on the backdrop, there is Tabitha.
So yeah, you can basically write about anything. Honestly, you guys, I don't care.
What about dog food? Can you write about dog food?
You can write about dog food too.
What would you say? What would you say about dog food? What would you say?
I would say it tastes...
Well, ugh. That's disgusting. That's not a good place to start. Now people know that you've eaten dog food.
Basically.
Excuse me, everybody. I throw up. Okay. So that's gross. Anyways, go ahead. So let's go from point B to point A. Where would you go?
Okay.
Start from the end and go back. Usually the best.
Alright, so basically you can write a song about literally anything. It does not have to be serious, you guys. It does not have to be...
Check out Dr. Demento, okay? I know you guys have heard of Dr. Demento. As a matter of fact, it was one of the songs that I taught you the drums on.
Really?
Yep, let's do it, damn it. Remember when we ran away and I got on my knees and begged you not to leave because I'd go berserk? They're coming to take me away, ha-ha. See? So, Dr. Demento wrote some funny songs.
Basically, if you suck at writing and you want to learn how to do it, then it doesn't even have to be serious. Like, you can start out with a silly song, and
Because
Trust
now
me.
it's time for Silly Songs with Larry, the part of the show where Larry comes out and sings a silly song.
basically you
Or
can,
Isaiah comes out in a wedding dress and sings
Well,
a silly
yeah.
song.
you can pretty much do whatever you want, and even if you're at an open mic, you can play your funny song, and people will absolutely love it. People absolutely love it whenever you do different voices or whenever
Yeah.
you do sound effects.
I've actually only recently realized that that's the case, but people do love it. Like I'll be up there, I'll go up there sometimes, and I'll start off with just like a little beatbox or something like that, and I'll just get up to the mic and I'll be like, hey bro, up there, bro, do a mic check, bro.
So what if you're writing a serious song? What
It
do you,
depends. I've written so many songs, like just saying, writing a serious song. I've written songs about death. I've written songs about love. I've written songs about loss. I've written songs about so many different things. So, I honestly, whenever I start writing personally, I don't really go with anything. I mean, like it's literally like a conversation. That's basically how
Okay.
most of my things start, or it's like something that's going on, like wishy-washy. That lingers lately in a lascivious word, wasting help, preciseness, please, proceed, please, breathe. Indigenous subtle skin sees that when I move, you move to paint visionary insurrection, soul fire spitting, raindrop stops, energy kisses a heartbeat. None of that stuff really makes any sense in a full sentence, but all that stuff makes sense to me in different pieces. I love the rain, energy kisses, whenever you kiss me, how like time stopped and everything.
I'm not
for me.
kissing you while you're wearing that.
So a lot of that stuff is based on what I see, what I hear, what I remembered about what's going on. So, like for instance, okay, I want you to write a song about. This is a song I've written about. Write about a tree.
No. A tree.
How would you start something like that?
Well, if I were to write about a tree, it would be like I'm really a person of detail, so I would say green leaves.
And we'll do
Falling.
this. You do a couple of lines, I'll do a couple of lines.
Okay.
And yeah, say what you're writing down. So green leaves falling.
Around in a forest.
And this is how actually I taught her how to write. And so let's quickly go through one. Because we're about at 9 minutes or so. Green leaves falling around in a forest with weather so dark and cold. Because if the leaves are falling, that means it's fall. So then you
Okay.
go with weather so dark and cold. I look to see around me that my life is, my life is,
And it doesn't even have to rhyme.
doesn't have to rhyme.
It does not have to rhyme. That's what a lot of people have told me, that, well, it doesn't rhyme. Well, no, it doesn't necessarily have to rhyme. I mean, listen to like Ed Sheeran or Taylor Swift or, you know, even Nicki Minaj. Like, none of their songs rhyme at all. I mean, listen to Johnny Cash. If you like the older stuff, listen to Johnny Cash, Led Zeppelin. You know, They sometimes rhyme in their songs, but not all the time. I mean, the whole point of writing a song is to tell a story. So if you're writing about, say, a tree, then, well, what would you do if you... What would you do if you
I
were
forgot
in
you're writing
a...
about a tree. Keep going.
Basically, what would you do if you were in... If you think of the word tree, what does that make you think of? If it makes you think about a forest, then, hey, write about trees
Or the
in
crunching of
the
the
forest.
leaves.
Or the crunching of
Or
the
the
leaves.
sounds. Write about sounds that you've heard. As soon as you're done explaining a few more points, I'm going to read you guys what I'm writing currently. So keep going.
Or the weather, or about how how trees grow. I mean, it can go either way. So,
How do you write songs?
how do I write songs? Well, normally if something happens to me, like a traumatic event, or if I'm just singing in the car and just coming up with random lyrics, and I'm like, ooh, that sounds really good, then I'll either sing it and record it, or I'll write it down. So that's how I write songs. He can write songs just by sitting down and just scribbling on paper.
Whatever.
But I can't do that. Like, for me, I have to have like a specific event or have inspiration in order to write. You know what I'm saying?
This kind of ended poorly. I mean, not poorly, but like kind of dark. So go ahead and read.
Okay.
From the beginning.
So I start out, green leaves falling around in a forest. And the rest is yours. With weather so dark and cold, I look to see around me that my life is growing old. For the reason time is moving in a pace beyond my eyes. We fall into a cove to rise with the sun behind.
Fall into a love press. Let me read it. Am I scribbling? I'm really scribbled here. For the reason time is moving in a pace beyond my eyes, we fall into a love to rise to the sun beyond my eyes. The trees are golden brown now, and my jacket is so warm. Green leaves are falling, and my life is now so torn. So like I said, it turned into something relatively dark because like the rhyme scheme of it was worn, torn, born, cord. I mean, it was kind of going that way. So I just kind of went with it. You can easily flip it around and make it completely like bright and all fluffy and everything like that. But life isn't like that for everybody. So a lot of times, you know, even if you see things like that are like this, green leaves are falling all around in a forest. Okay, well, green leaves, that means you're not going into springtime. That means you're going into wintertime. I mean, that's just kind of the four seasons aspect. So.
And let me tell you something, guys. Even if your lyrics don't make any sense, people aren't going to listen to it. I mean,
People aren't going to listen to it?
No, I mean, they'll listen to the music, but they mainly don't listen to the lyrics unless you have a musician that's there who is paying attention to the lyrics rather than just the music. Like, it comes together. You know what I'm saying? But if you're playing it at an open mic and, you know, you're kind of singing into a microphone so the sound can only, like, sometimes the sound will muffle a bit, sound very muffly depending on how your voice is and what you're doing. But most people will only listen to the music and pay less attention to the actual lyrics.
Everyone's different. I've had some people that are like, man, I like your music, but your lyrics are dark. And I'm like, okay, well, you should hear the songs I wrote as a child. So those are completely, like, really, I have one song that goes, in this hole so dark and carefully guided by a voice so familiar to me. The thing is that I was going through something as a child, so
Mhm.
I wrote about what was going on. The thing is that, like, for Tabitha, for instance, she was going through a period at one point where she hasn't even stumbled upon this in her life. And so the first person that brought music to her attention and was like, you can write like this, you can write however you want to, but you can write. It was through I think it's called a crux, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember, something like that, where you basically go through a period of time where just things are just twisting and turning, and things are just, you're like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. And so it wasn't bad for you to write.
Mhm.
It just sucked that what you were going through came out the way that it did, right?
And that's how I personally was able to write songs, was because of those specific events that happened. And
But what would happen, for instance, if you just sat around at home and you just went to your 9-to-5 job, and then you just came back home and then you watched TV and you fell asleep and you woke up and you went to work and you came home and you ate dinner and then you fell asleep and then you woke
then
up.
I wouldn't have time to journal or anything. And that's basically what songs are, you guys. Even if you journal, or if you keep a diary, or if you write poetry, then those can be turned into songs. I mean seriously.
Exactly, and things are your perception of life, your perception of how things are just your own. Okay, it's not anybody else's perception. You're looking
That's
at
right.
the same exact thing. You're looking at the same exact situation, the same exact pin, same exact whatever. If you're wanting to write all fluffy and like happy-go-lucky and like really big, you're not gonna want something that's, what is this? Extra fine, but I don't know what the thing is. I think it's 0.7 or 0.7. So with this, you're not gonna be able to do something that's like that stuff right there. Can you see that right there in the camera? You can't do that. That would take forever. I mean, seriously. Check out, can you see that?
Hold on.
So, like, all that stuff that's sitting up on that wall, you definitely could not write it with this pen. It would take forever. You'd have to fill in so much. This is literally where we're at. This is how you're writing. So, I mean, figure out the tools that you guys have around you. And I mean, how did I get on this point? Anyways, find tools that work for you guys. I like writing really small. My sister, I think it was Patience. Yeah, Patience wrote so small sometimes that it was like at a 5 or a 6 if you were going to measure it, like how you do on the computer and stuff like that. Usually people write at a 9, or usually it's at about a 9 or a 10. She was writing at like 3, 4, 5. And that it was crazy small, and she had just.
Could you read it?
No, sometimes I could, but she wrote so unbelievably small, and she would do that intentionally. She'd be like, and write like a full freaking page of stuff, and it was like 2 lines, and you're just like, jeez.
I do have a question. What kind of pens do we use?
Currently, I've been using for a while. It's from Pilot, and it's ultra fine, precise V5 rolling ball, and honestly, this is probably my favorite. I probably have about 3 pens that are my absolute favorite. I don't have them.
You can get them at Walmart, correct?
Correct. You can get them, and they're
Okay.
like anywhere between $7 to $9 for like a pack of 4. So, and Mrs. Coaster actually does that as well. She writes with these because honestly, it's really good. So back to this. Let's go ahead and wrap this up, okay?
Okay.
So whenever it comes to writing stuff, don't worry about it, guys. Don't worry about it, seriously. I mean, like, it's some of the most relieving, okay, that's not the word I'm looking for. It's incredibly, you just give...
Refreshing.
It's refreshing, yeah. It's refreshing. You give back to whomever is listening. And if you go out to poetry night, for instance, and read some of your stuff to people, the people are like, oh my gosh, I absolutely loved it. And the people that don't get it, they just don't get it. And leave them alone. Like,
Yeah.
leave them in their I don't get it phase. Because it's a phase. It's all it is. And if you want them to get it, explain it to them. If they don't care to get it, don't worry about it. Leave it be. Thank you guys very much for joining us in How to Be a Better You. We will show you guys how to write songs and how to write poetry and how to write a ton of other things. This is just the beginner's point. We're going to show you guys how to make stuff rhyme a little bit better. I'm writing a rap song right now, or I did recently for you. Yeah, and I'm still working on that. And then Mrs. Koser has one as well. What's your thing on YouTube?
My YouTube channel or my rap song?
Your YouTube channel.
My YouTube channel, what about it?
How do people find it?
Just type in my first and last name, Angela Koser, Kocur.
Okay, and then and find the stuff that she's doing as well.
Yeah,
Right?
she does some really good poetry.
Exactly.
Like really good poetry.
She's gone around with us and actually done a few poetry pieces, and
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting to hear people's feedback. I'll tell you that much. And so thank you guys very much. This has been fun, and we will get back to you guys. I don't know what we're doing next, honestly. We just got done setting up a drum set today and then showing you guys how to write songs. We'll probably upload another thing tonight. So thank you on coming back to learn how to be a better you, how to improve upon what you already know. Everybody knows how to talk. It's just getting a pen and paper. Write it down, guys. Write it down, because once it's down and everything, you can go back and review it and look over it. And if you're in the heat of the moment of any situation, write it down. Must remember to write it down. This is so real. Finally, it's my lucky day. See my eyes racing. Who can tell me who did that? Thank you guys very much. How to Be a Better You. Bye-bye.